The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is a Wednesday at noon inside the SWBC podcast studio. Mickey Spagnola having problems with his headset, and that means it's time for another edition of Mick Shots. Bill Jones with Everson Walls. And Everson, we've got football players on the football field outside.
They look good, man. They look good.
They all padded up and everything, aren't they?
That's right. Beautiful.
No, actually, they're not all padded up.
Well, to me, that's padded for them. I mean,
as padded as they'll be. Right?
Even their pads on pads.
Producer Supreme Chris Beam to the rescue.
You've got defensive linemen wearing field goal kicker pads. So they're never.
You might have just segued into one of these stories of the week here at the Star in Frisco, which we will get into, unless you want to talk 62 first.
Yes.
You want to talk 62 first?
Was it fun?
It was all right.
It was all right.
Yeah. Well, I sent you the video I had of the home run.
I got it.
Were you sitting in the press box?
I was sitting on the moon. Yes, I was in the press box.
Well,
you caught my sarcasm, right? Okay. I
I
want to
thought
make sure you
TV
caught
guys used to sit in those suites above.
They have a new
field.
ballpark, Mickey. There's a new ballpark.
Oh, that's right.
It's indoors. They have indoors.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But they used to sit in left field, the suite section.
Yeah, that was across the street.
There is
that
no
was
suite
across the
section
street.
in
No
left field
suite
at this
section
ballpark.
anymore.
Although there is a sweet souvenir out in left field last night
Yes,
for
there
one
was.
very lucky fan who is positioned.
And not related to Kyle Yeomans, by the way.
That's right. Corey Yeomans, I think is his name. Yeah.
I said, did you send your dad to the game?
or big brother.
Yeah. And he said, my phone, I was at dinner with my fiance and my phone blew up. And I said, oh, he must have hit the home run. He goes, no. Everybody wanted to know if I knew the guy because they were looking for his phone number.
I thought about it, and then I realized he hadn't said anything about a brother or someone named Corey. So anyway, 62, and the Rangers got number 67.
That's right.
Their 67th win.
So what do you do? Do you cheer for him if you're a Ranger?
Oh, heck yes.
You do? You cheer for him?
Even if you're a player, I think.
I mean, a player,
for
yes.
him.
I mean, a player, yeah.
Absolutely.
So do you go out there and celebrate with him?
Well, they didn't, but everybody else did.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, if I might be a fan. I mean, I just started playing. I might be a
baseball
fan, and this guy hits a home run. I can't be a Ranger going out there. Hey, that's great, right? I mean,
I was wondering if the Rangers were going to stream out of their dugout and greedy with home plate.
What do you do?
Congratulate the pitcher for throwing meat up there.
Well, he went 6 games trying to hit number 62.
I know.
And
no, we helped him out.
Finally, they put a rookie pitcher.
What do you want?
Yeah,
I got you right.
It was a slider that didn't slide.
Yeah, right. On purpose.
It was a gift from Jesus.
There you go.
Right?
Well, that was Jesus, you mean?
Jesus, yes. Jesus Tinoco. Yeah.
I got to watch it live. Can't watch it on MLB because it's blacked out here. Mm-hmm. But I discovered that TBS had a Tuesday night baseball game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I said, I bet they cut in. And they did. So
ESPN was cutting into every college football game whenever Aaron Judge came to the plate over the weekend.
And they did.
So all college football fans are rejoicing he finally got the home run.
And they had programming going on, like a special show or something, so they weren't going to cut into it, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't going live. So, but I got to watch it, and boy, when I saw that swing happening and he made contact, I was like, whoa, that's it. Mm-hmm. You could tell that was gone.
Yeah. He hit it good.
It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then, you know what the neat thing was? When he went around the bases like home run number 2.
Right.
There was no big silly celebration, touched home plate, and then I thought,
the commercials. He does the same thing in the commercials.
right, and then
That's his persona.
That's his thing.
and then it was almost like going to the reception line at a wedding. He hugged everybody that was there. And ones that didn't come out on the field, he went through the dugout one by one and hugged them all.
That's all right.
That was pretty cool.
No, he deserves that. He deserves it.
He is a big man. What position would he play in the National Football League?
Tight end, baby. Tight end. Tight ends are the studs of this league.
He can run.
Tight ends and defensive end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
see
some
that.
kind of defensive end.
Sure enough, brother.
He probably wouldn't even need to use a swim move. He
No.
could just maul you.
What is he, 6'7"?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at
Ridiculous,
least.
man.
He is larger than life. This is an aside, but you know who he reminds me of? Did you ever watch The Munsters?
Yeah. You mean the butler?
Remember when some baseball guy, I can't remember who it was, made a guest appearance on the Munsters, and so Herman went to a baseball park and they threw pitches to him, and he hit one, it skyrocketed around the earth. And,
The other one exploded or something.
yeah, it
didn't
went through the outfield fence. The ball. There's a line drive that just burned a hole all the way through the outfield
Hey, man,
fence.
Herman was a
That's who
baller,
Aaron
dude.
Judge is always
Herman's a
reminded
baller,
me.
bro.
He looks like just how his physical, just how large he is. That's
I wonder how much the guy that caught the ball paid for his ticket. Because they were
in
going
that area.
They were
They're
going.
in-
because I know
that's
for a
the
fact
area. That's the hot spot.
you actually had to pay to get into this game. The Rangers have been giving out free tickets. I know because I personally benefited from that for all 14 people in my family for a game a couple of Fridays ago.
Right.
And they said, "Yeah, you can." They offered me tickets just to go, okay, and because they wanted me to spend for dinner for 14 people there at the ballpark, and any game in September. Then I looked at the schedule. Well, what about the Yankee series in October? No. And that was the largest paid crowd in the history of the ballpark, 38,000.
And I had read it. They were going for $400 to $800.
Yeah, so he did have to pay for it, but I don't know. Yeah, especially be on the front row. And you saw the other guy that went over the railing.
Right.
Okay, they're about
he jumped.
he jumped over the railing. And
He was banking on it not making that first
it
row.
it was a shrewd move by
it
him,
was. It
thinking
was.
that, okay, if he drops it, I'm in this little space between the outfield wall and the seats where I can get the ball. It was shrewd until
They carted
he was
him off.
escorted off.
I wonder.
I mean, but really.
And
but
we
he-
went underneath because we were going to find the guy who caught the ball. So we camped out by the Yankees clubhouse, knowing that they would take him down there, or assuming they would. Well, no, they took the guy that they
Well,
arrested.
I mean,
They didn't arrest him.
for
but
that guy, it was all or nothing. I mean, he wasn't going to catch it.
Yeah, he didn't care about
Yeah,
the rest
he
of
wasn't
the
going
game.
to catch it. Yeah, he's like, okay, this is my best move that I'm going to make
I
right
wonder.
now because
I
I'm
wonder
not going to catch
if
it.
it went down
had
there.
planned that out.
If it went down there and he caught it or got it when he got
When he
escorted
broke
out,
the
would they have
rules.
taken the ball away?
Yeah.
No, you ain't getting my ball, bro. Bro. We're going to fight over this ball. No way, brother.
I mean,
You
that's a
are
$2 million ball.
Yeah, you are
Yeah.
not going to get me for this one.
Did anybody get to interview the guy with the ball?
They just asked him a quick question.
Yeah.
But he hasn't that I know of. He hasn't done any interviews
Like
yet.
said, I'm keeping it, I'm giving it, I'm
not
selling
that I've
it.
seen. Yeah.
He knows what he's going to do. I mean, that's why
He's an
he bought it.
investment banker.
Okay,
it
we're
said,
done. We're good.
I read in the paper.
We're good. We're good.
Not only an investment banker, he's the vice president too.
Oh, come on, man.
He knows. Yeah.
So you had to pay extra then to be in that part of the stadium because everybody knows it's going to be in that part of the field.
Those were the most
Right.
coveted seats.
Right. So they had to pay extra, right, to get to sit in
Oh,
that
yeah.
part.
They didn't get him for
especially
place.
on the first row.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. That was a.
That's a hell of a catch, though. By the way,
No, it was nice. Yeah.
Right?
He went up and mossed the dude. He went and mossed him
he
because another
snatched
guy
it.
another guy wanted it. He came over the top. That was a getting mossed.
it was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
It was also cool to see the Rangers tweeted out a picture of 3 Cowboys in Rangers jackets.
I saw
at
that.
the game, and that would be Dak Prescott, Michael Parsons, and Michael Gallup were all there together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
As we bring it back to Cowboys.
Bring it back. Bring it back, baby.
And they're practicing right now behind behind us, not immediately behind us, but across the hall.
Dude, what if Dak would have been like, oh, I got it.
With his
With his hand?
Right, my thumb.
Yeah. He better caught it left-handed.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
all right.
And there's no more suspense there, right? He's not playing. He
is
never
not
was
playing.
going to play.
Everyone
it was
is
never going to
Well,
happen.
Jerry, stop playing with people. Stop fooling around, Jerry.
He's just being optimistic.
He's being
It also
Jerry,
keeps
man.
the talk of the town.
Right?
Now, what did my dad say? He's just being a ham.
A ham.
Old school. He's just being a ham.
All right. So who's your long snapper of choice this week?
We don't know. They're having a snap-off. They brought in 4 guys yesterday. When we finished, we saw those guys on the field, and I saw a guy with a weird number, like 40-something, and he had the ball in his hands. I said, oh, they're working out a deep snapper. Well, they were working out 4 of them, and they chose 2 and have signed them to the practice squad. Matt Overton, last on the Rams practice squad, and Tucker Addington played with the Houston Gamblers this spring in the USFL.
Out of Sam Houston
Gamblers.
State.
They still have the Houston.
They kept the names.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Jim Kelly.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
My wide receiver played for the Houston Gamblers.
Well, that's like Turpin played for the New Jersey Generals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They kept the name. So anyway, those 2 guys will work this week, and I'm sure on Saturday they'll make a decision on which one's going to be the
Forgive my
deep
ignorance.
snapper.
I didn't know that we had a snap.
and no one knew until yesterday afternoon.
What happened?
Jake McQuaide,
Okay.
he tore his triceps muscle on the last punt of the game.
Snapping the ball?
No, he was blocking, and it was weird because he was blocking, and I saw him kind of grab the guy with his right arm and kind of slung him to the ground, and I said, oh, he did it in his right arm. But then he started running downfield, and he was holding his arm close to his left arm close to his body, and I said, oh, it's
He's
the
running
left
to the
arm.
trainer. He was running to
No, he was running down to cover.
Oh.
He wasn't going to tackle anybody, but it was
Okay, so
the snap
we're trying
came
not
with
to
2.
be too vigorous here on field goal protection, right?
It was
was it
punt.
punt protection?
It was punt. 2
We're
minutes.
not trying to do this that much. So this happened during the game.
At that point, 2
Okay,
minutes left
okay.
in
I
the
thought
game.
this happened in
no,
practice or
two
something.
2 minutes to go in the game.
Okay, my bad.
And so he's out for the year. Probably has to have surgery.
Wow.
And he had played every game for 11 seasons when he first got in the league in 2011.
Wow.
And that's the first time he's going to miss a game this Sunday.
So is Diassi still playing for the Giants?
Yeah. I was wondering
Is Diassi
where
still with the
LP
Giants?
Ladouceur was.
He's not. No, he's not there anymore.
He should come in. Come on, man. Get Steve's son in here, man. Come on.
So, yeah. And, it's not just, that's a kind of disrupts the operation of the
Yes.
field
Well, you
goals
saw
and
what
extra
happened with
points.
Cincinnati in the season opener against
Right.
the Steelers.
But
That's
that
why
was
they
the
lost that
emergency
game.
guy.
Yeah.
They didn't.
But the importance of a quality
Yeah, it does
deep
show
snapper.
quality
So
snap, and
Michael
they
Fitzpatrick
immediately
took advantage of that.
signed a deep snapper for real for the Cowboys game. And
I'm
he
texting
did
Steve
fine.
right now, bro. I'm texting
See
Diassi.
what he can do.
Yeah, see if he can get his son here.
I should have asked Drew. Drew was up in the lobby.
I
Pearson.
saw Drew.
I said, "Can you deep snap?"
I asked you, do you get up in the morning and wear that jacket, or what's going on? You got a Hall of Fame jacket everywhere you go. Do you,
He's got an appearance. I told him if he gets bored, we got a podcast going on just downstairs. You can join us. He goes, "You got any money?" I said, "I got a open mic."
He tells me, cry and pray, and I'll be there. That's what he
Right?
told me.
Cry and pray.
For Everson, Zach Diassi's last year with the Giants was 2019.
Okay.
As a deep snapper.
Well, that was only because of COVID.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Come on. we
So
can
he
get
should
out.
be
So
healthy,
he's-
right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So we'll see how this one works out because, it was just Monday. John Fossil was crediting their operation on the field goals and Brett Maher, same thing. He was crediting the operation that, everybody's got confidence in everybody and we're working really well together. Now you got to change.
Well, and that was on Monday, and Fossil already knew
Yes.
that they had an issue.
Right, and he probably, I don't know if he knew.
And McQuaide is a guy that he's had for years.
Right, because he was with the Rams, right?
Yeah.
So this is the second time only since 2005 that the Cowboys have changed deep snappers in the middle of the season. Because in 2005, Bill Parcells ran out of patience with rookie John Kondo after the first, I don't know, it was 4 or 5 games. And it was between the Cowboys were playing San Francisco and Oakland back-to-back, and we stayed out on the West Coast, and the Cowboys were practicing at San Jose State. And they brought in some guy that deep snapped for Cal because he was right down the road. And he drives in, has a workout, and they signed one LP Ladouceur on the spot. And he never missed a game for the next 16 years.
I told DiAssi, I said, the Cowboys need a long snapper. I said, I'm on a podcast. He goes, my stuff is still nice. I said, not you, Zach. Oh, you mean my son? Yeah, okay. So.
My stuff is still nice.
And whatever happened to that John Kondo character that Bill Parcells ran out of patience with?
He got picked up and
he did.
He got NFL
picked
career.
up, and he had a 15-year career in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he was a 2-time Pro Bowler as well.
Yep.
So.
But, yeah, he had a couple bad snaps, and the last ones were in that game against the 49ers, and I can't do this anymore.
And for the next 12 years, he was the Oakland Raiders deep snapper.
Deep snapper.
Yep.
Steve says he's better, but except he can't hardly bend over.
Well, that could be a problem.
That's a problem, yeah.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of Mick Shots. Back in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, and that would be kpostcompany.com.
We were talking USFL in the first segment, and I got a response from a listener, viewer, Nate in Frisco, says that Nate Newton played for the Tampa Bay Bandits.
No, Nathaniel from Frisco.
Oh, Nathaniel.
Or is it Nathaniel down the hallway?
Well, he sent it in third person, Nate, and so I assumed it must not be the same.
Yeah, that sounds like an ego problem there.
And oh, by the way, so they didn't have to make a roster move on the practice squad to put those two guys on there because they elevated Will Greer or signed him to the 53-man roster, which opened up a spot because they had to because he already used his 3 elevations. And they already had an open spot on the 16-man practice squad, so no one had to get cut to put those two guys down there to practice this week with him.
All right, so what do we need to know from Mike McCarthy's Wednesday press conference today?
Well, off the top of my head,
I saw him from the restaurant across the street. Couldn't hear him, but I saw him.
Oh, you were watching?
I was watching it. I sure was.
Very good. So, Donovan Lewis and Donovan Wilson, Jordan Lewis. I'm sorry. Got my Donovan too soon.
Donovan Lewis is a local radio personality.
They were.
I wonder where he was going.
They were listed as limited. They were going to work with the rehab guys. They were going to see how Lewis did. And as for Wilson, they just kind of looked at his workload the last, I think, 3 games in a row. He played every snap in the game, and so they were going to let him just have a day. And
he's had some days already.
Yes, he has.
He's had some Sundays and a Monday.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
were pretty good.
So looks like Curse was slated to practice fully today, so he should be out there. We'll
and his
see
problem is
how
what?
that goes. He had a sprained knee, and he's missed 3 games.
Yeah.
This is 4 weeks now. And the good news is they're starting the clock on Damone Clark. He'd been on non-football injury, NFI, and they can practice him 3 weeks before having to make some sort of decision on him.
That is very interesting. And, of course, Damone Clark is the 5th-round draft pick out of LSU, number 176 overall. And at the time that the Cowboys drafted him, because of his injury issue, it was suspected that, this might be a redshirt year, or at best it'll be December before he'll be able to play. And for them to already start the clock in early October is really encouraging.
So maybe by the beginning of November, somebody asked me today, like, well, where do you play him? And I said, have you seen this guy? What he looks like as a linebacker? I said, special teams for sure, once he's ready to go. And he's been here, Mike McCarthy pointed out, he's here 7 days a week, rehabbing, running, and he can do all the running. It was a neck surgery he had to fuse the discs in his neck.
So we're still redshirting professionals?
Redshirting.
I'm just asking.
Sort of unofficially.
Yeah. I didn't know how Bill was using that term.
So, I mean, this guy was pretty darn good at LSU.
You're not catching it all, Bill. Come on. You think I'm not?
Well, here's the other thing. Just to picture him, okay, what is Micah Parsons listed at?
Parsons is probably listed at 6'4", 255, 6'5".
He's listed at 6'3", 245.
245. Oh.
What's Damone Clark listed at? 6'3", 245. So, I mean, you're getting a player of that same build.
Right.
And the other thing with linebackers.
But he's more defined. Like, this guy's stout.
Really? So he's more bulkier.
Well,
not all 245 pounders are the same. Like,
right.
for instance, myself, I'm not.
He's probably got one arm.
I can see that lineup. Man, which one culprits did this to you? Oh, it wasn't that guy. I know. I recognize him.
You could put Tom Brady.
Right.
It would be Brady at the combine.
Right.
You could put 2 of Bill's arms into one of his. This guy's got some arms, let me tell you. So that's encouraging to hear, and for his case too.
I have not been hearing much from Sam Williams.
He's been out there. He hadn't had a sack, but he's been showing up.
He made progress this week. There was no penalty this week.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, or dumb call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Quarterback's in the air. He's free game to me.
I was talking. Okay.
Yeah.
On the sideline.
Yeah, when they got called for the late hit on.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a running back
but
now.
He's running now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still in bounds. I don't care if he's in the air.
He's not sliding.
No, and he's holding you can hold the ball out when you're in the air, right?
And quarterbacks have been warned, if you're going to try to tippy-toe down that sideline and try to gain extra yards, you are fair game.
Oh, and I know when I told you I saw some guy struggling to get off the field, and then they called too many guys on the field on him. It was the tight end from Tampa Bay, Brait.
Yes. He's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they called it. And it's like, let the guy get off. You can see he's struggling. He's trying to get off. He's not in the game. God, these guys could be so anal about things. I swear to God.
Is it time? I mean, do you have anything else for us?
I do.
You can't just jump off into it, Spags. You got to give us a warning.
It might be time for a Mick shot.
So this shot, I want to ask you guys a question. What is the fastest you will go on Sam Rayburn Tollway? Like, even if you're in a hurry.
Depends on the car I'm in. If I'm in a
Sam Rayburn Tollway, it would be 121 in
Yes.
North Dallas.
Man, if I mean comfortably,
Yeah.
you could push 95 comfortably on 121.
Well, that must have been him that passed me.
You know what I do? I set it on 70.
Okay.
And I go 70.
And he's in the way. He's in the way.
That's right.
Stay to the right.
I stay in that.
Stay to the right, old man.
I stay in that left lane.
No, you can't be there. You're the guy that causes all the problems.
I was going 80, and some guy came by me like I was standing still. He had to be going 90. Maybe
white
95.
Volvo?
No,
Volvo.
it was a dark car with one of those phony muffler things that make a lot of noise that you pay extra for, and it doesn't do anything to make the car go faster, right?
Noise.
When was this?
Guy blew by me this
Chris
morning.
needs to know
this
exactly.
morning. Okay.
Chris needs to know time and date.
Okay.
It was probably around.
Did he have two kids in the car with him?
8 or 8:15.
No.
Did he have two kids in the car with him going to school?
No, he was by himself. I mean, he flew by me. I'm going, God, how fast will you go?
Man.
What time did the players have to be here today?
Yeah.
That's funny you say that.
Might have been
that's
getting
why
close.
I wanted to know.
Yeah, it might have been getting close. That's why back when they were at the ranch and guys would show up late, don't be in their way because they were flying, especially to make sure that they got there for Joe Avezzano's special teams meeting, that if you weren't there 10 minutes ahead, you were late, and he locked the door on you.
The traffic is not your friend when you're trying to make it to practice.
Or to a podcast. So anyway, there you go.
All right. I like that. See, those Mick shots, they come in all shapes and sizes.
Oh, yes, they do. Yeah. I like that. That was a query. I like that. That was cool.
A query.
Uh-huh. All right. So I'm trying to think anything else that Mike gave us some updates that he normally doesn't. No, I think that was good. He gave the team the speech this morning about their assessment of the first month of the season, 4 games, what was good.
Or through the first quarter of the season, even though it's a 17-game schedule now.
Quarter and a third, right? Or so.
Yeah, it's worse.
I don't know how you put it.
Deeper fraction.
But anyway, he gave them a list of things, and a couple of things is the pre-snap penalties have to improve. And then the other one was basically got to do better on first and second down so they don't struggle as much on third down, because their third down conversion rate is probably not what they want it to be.
When we're not running the ball well,
yes,
first and second down, then you know what we're stuck with. And our third down is it could be better. What you laughing at? What's that? You look at Nate. Is Nate sending you stuff? Nate, stop, bro. Okay, come on, man.
So
he won't. I didn't answer yesterday, so now he's on you. See?
They're 16 of 53 on third down. That's 30.2%. You want to be 35 to 40%.
Once again, a good defense. A good defense will cover all of that up.
Right.
As long as your defense is stopping them on third downs, then that 30-something%, that's not a big factor.
Nate's not worrying
Our
about
producer, Nate Newton, has sent a message saying, Bill, break time. Thank you. And we're back with another Mick shot in just a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more. Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860. And if you're still looking for single-game tickets to the Dallas Cowboys games at AT&T Stadium, they're available. And go to SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium. How's that for doubling up?
All right. I love it. Okay. Do you have anything else that you want to get into?
No,
I got something
shoot.
If you don't. Okay. I just saw on Twitter that Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has been ruled out of the Thursday night game against Denver with a high ankle sprain. On my drive in today, I was listening to Sirius NFL Radio, and I really enjoy listening to Rich Gannon on there.
Gannon.
He does a great job.
Yeah.
And I think he's tight with McCarthy because he was with Kansas City maybe when McCarthy was there. I'm not sure. He says some things about McCarthy.
Close,
something like that. Anyway, and that's one of the reasons I'll listen to Gannon here. He may give me a little tidbit or whatever. But he's very knowledgeable about all the teams and everything. But one thing that he was talking about today was he says, and he was talking about the Colts, and he's talking about the leadership on that Colts team, because they are really struggling right now. You know, they had a lackluster game against Tennessee. They played lackluster all year outside of their win against Kansas City, okay?
No offensive line.
He's saying the leadership on that team needs to step up. They need to do some real soul searching, and the players need to take over that team, the veteran players on that team. And what he said is the great coaches, and he wasn't being critical of Frank Reich, their head coach, but he says that he believes the great coaches in this league figure out a way for the players to be the owner, to take ownership of the team and to be the real leaders of the team. Okay, so my question to you is do you agree with that? And secondly, on this Cowboys team, is that something that has happened? Because that's when he was talking about it, I was thinking about McCarthy's coaching style, and that goes hand in hand with what I think McCarthy does as a head coach.
Bill Parcells, I was only there with 1 year with Parcells, so he didn't give me a chance to be pissed off at him.
Mm-hmm.
He had pissed off a lot of the players and veterans that had been there. And I think it was by design, because when I stepped into that locker room, you could tell the veterans that were running the whole joint. and Parcells was nowhere to be found. So I believe he allowed us to commiserate amongst ourselves in spite of him. You understand? He wants us. He would rather the players be in unison, hating him, as opposed to having a fractured locker room worrying about what management thinks. So I thought he was really good at that by having the guys galvanize as a locker room, as a team, and really having their own leadership going inside the locker room.
You know, that sounds familiar because he put all those little mind vitamins up in the locker room, the signs, and one of the signs said something about winners stay together as a team, losers have small factions that complain to each other.
Right.
And so that sounds, just
that's
what
the way
he
that
tries
locker
to
room
set up.
As soon as you
right?
stepped in, you could tell that the guys ran the locker room.
By the way, Rich Gannon was with the Chiefs from 1995 through 1998. And Mike McCarthy was the quarterback's coach for the Chiefs from 1995 through 1998. So they are, that they're close.
When you look at that coach team, we saw Hard Knocks during the season, I believe. And they gambled on Wentz big time. But in spite of that, they did have leadership on that team, especially from the defensive side. And the running game was going strong. Taylor was balling, and Wentz wasn't doing so well. Now you've got an offensive line, I guess. They must be a little bit having some problems there on the offensive line. They can't run the ball like they used to. And you got an older quarterback. So Matt Ryan is back there struggling, even though he did have that one game that was almost redemption for them, but they came back and did the same thing. So what's the middle linebacker's name? Leonard? He's HBCU
Shaquille Leonard now was Darius Leonard.
Yeah. I mean, he got hurt last year, if I'm not mistaken. But that was the leader of that team.
And he's been hurt this year. He's off and on. Yeah.
I think that really hurts them more than anything is not having. He's the Michael Parsons of that squad.
So to answer your question, you've got Dak, Zach Martin, DeMarcus Lawrence. I think, and in a probably quieter way, Anthony Brown. But those are the guys that have been here, and I think they have a say in the locker room. I know Zach does for sure. Not when the media's in there, but for the team. And we know Dak for sure. Zeke a little bit, and then Parsons. Even as a rookie last year, by just the way he played, guys are going to follow
respect.
him, right?
Yeah. I mean, and you go back to even Dak and Zeke's rookie year. By the way they played, they commanded respect.
They stepped up, man.
Yeah,
they stepped
in that
up.
locker room.
Yeah. So sometimes, it has to be. It can't be, okay, I'm going to be a leader. It's got to be organic. It's got to evolve, and I think Mike has allowed that to happen. In his locker room. Now,
some are verbal and some are just by action.
And I don't know that Jimmy wanted any leaders in that locker room.
But there were leaders in that
But there
locker.
was.
Yeah.
But he was.
Whether it was him trying to get it organized or not,
right.
Michael Irvin and Aikman and Darryl.
I think he appreciated the fact that Michael Irvin stepped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mike stepped up big time.
Well, he gave Mike a lot of latitude.
He would interrupt his post-practice speeches. Mike would stand up and just take over. So, and I don't remember Jimmy getting pissed off about that at all. So I don't think he minded certain ones being those leaders. And of course, the triplets, that's the ultimate. And he allowed others to come in and do the same. Charles Haley, Dion, he allowed them all to come in and do their own thing. And it all led to, because they were all winners. Hell, even Nate, I know he's listening. Even Nate, in his own way. Nate sits around and talk all that funny trash around here, but when Nate was on the field, no, he had respect from his teammates, no doubt about it.
Well, there's another part of it is, because you talk about leadership like that, there's also, I can feel it, even after the Giants win in the locker room after the game. You could tell that this was a loud, boisterous type locker room setting where guys were comfortable talking to each other and yelling across the room. Go back to the 90s Cowboys, and we were able to sit in that locker room for hours at a time, and with Nate in there, and they would
Haley
and. That's all healthy. That's how you build a team and build relationships on the team and stuff.
Well, this locker room during the week, you missed it. Even after they lost the Tampa Bay game, But for the next couple weeks, they were bringing certain guys out in the hallway to do the interviews, like group type thing. There was so much noise at that end of the locker room, you couldn't hardly hear what those guys were saying in the hallway, right? And it was a bunch of the DBs, always, right? I mean, they were at each other, and whatever the topic was, right? They were arguing
That's the way they were,
back and
That's
forth.
the way they were after the Giants game when the media's in there. The whole defensive end of the locker room, they were yelling about something. I don't even know what they were yelling about, but all I know is that's healthy.
Yeah.
That is good stuff right there.
A Cincinnati game,
And after the Cincinnati game, it was during that week, it was the same thing. And I don't know if they were arguing about college football or some player, how good he was or wasn't. They could have been talking basketball. I don't know. I mean, what you mentioned, I can remember Fridays back at the ranch, and the work is done. So now they're blowing off steam.
Right.
I've spent more time listening to Nate about whatever athletic endeavor you wanted to talk about. You want to talk boxing? We talk boxing. You want to talk basketball? And I told him, I said, I wasted more hours in my life listening to you on Friday, right? When I needed to get work done, but it was so good that I didn't want to leave.
And they didn't want to go home.
Yeah, and they didn't. You're right.
But the early '80s Cowboys were like that, right? I mean,
no, the locker room was always boisterous, and we always had that guy. Whether it was Springs, whether it was my God, they had so many guys. Dorsett was funny when he wanted to be. We just had guys in there. Harvey Martin was a guy that just was always boisterous, and he was
it's
just
a sign
like
of
that
confidence.
on TV.
I mean, it's
and camaraderie. That's what it is.
Yep.
It's because as we call it play the dozens or whatever. As we talk about each other and all that kind of stuff, it comes from a good place.
Especially your quadrant.
Yes, the ghetto row, they called it.
My
ghetto
Lord.
Row. Yeah.
But then you take it to the field, too, and then you're comfortable with that camaraderie that you're talking about.
So we can
when you're
confront
talking
each other during a game.
Exactly. And
that's
someone
coming
sees
from
it
a
on
good place.
TV and they say, they're mad at each other. No.
Now step up, man. And sometimes I'll apologize. I'm mad at myself. I got it next time. I should step up. My bad. So, yeah.
I could remember Dutton with that deep voice of his. It was after that preseason game, must have been 86, I want to say, against the Bears. Randy White got thrown out. He got in that fight, and he took the guy's helmet off and bonked him on the head with it.
That's not funny, but at that time
it was, right? And Randy will tell you, it was so hot out there. I didn't want to play anyway. It was a preseason game. But anyway, so we're in the locker room. We're talking about it, and Dutton stands up in their little quadrant. So to everybody, it was like 4 quadrants in the locker room. Everybody was kind of segregated. And Dutton stands up, and he goes, yeah. And you know what Randy told the guy? He goes, if you want to finish this, we'll meet in the parking lot afterwards. And he just screams it out, right? and it was probably a true story.
And
too.
now Dutton's voice, it would elevate always with management. He never talked bad about his own teammates.
Right.
He was always mad at Tom Landry or Gil Brandt or Tex Schramm. And I promise you, that is the only person I think Tom Landry was ever afraid of.
He was so big.
And he's loud.
And
it's
loud,
intimidating.
right? Yes.
And Tom is this size, and John is. Could you imagine if you couldn't control John Dutton during the practice? Give me a break, man.
Or tried to fine him?
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting fined.
Well, I like that.
Yes, that was good.
So I've got a good feeling about this team from that standpoint too.
Because they hung together.
The camaraderie.
It didn't get fractured. And
despite they've got
Tampa
guys.
Tampa could have been a trend, and it was not.
Yeah, very, very, very easily. And I think that's one of the things that McCarthy was pointing out in his little team meeting this morning about how they stuck together and everybody stepped up and we overcame things.
And it ain't pretty.
No,
it ain't pretty. I love winning ugly.
And again, and his the final point he was making is, and we have a lot to improve on. we still have a lot to
And you
improve
got
on.
two road games that are coming up against the defending Super Bowl champ. I don't care that they are 2-2 and coming off a loss, and then against the only unbeaten team in the league right now.
And they happen to
your
be a division
rival.
opponent.
Yep,
That's right.
leading your division.
That's
and
right.
so it's
And
like
it's never a good thing as a night game in Philadelphia.
Oh, Lord.
they're not talking about that in that locker room.
Yeah, the fans need to worry about that. The
right.
players, we'll be okay.
All right, so plenty to get to tomorrow on the next edition of Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.